Somebody asked me the other day, why do you keep on bothering with these MK1 weapons anyway? There are plenty of other better weapons you can try and have a look at. And to that I reply, for the same reason I play a game. For fun, for enjoyment, for entertainment, and for the fact that my YouTube members voted on it. Yeah, they got a very interesting sense of humor. Anyway, and if you want to be able to vote on what I work on next, click the join button next to the subscription button to learn more. You get fantastic perks, my friends. Fantastic, like wallpapers. Anyway, click the button to learn more. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be diving deeper into this primary weapon. But this one is a little bit different. No introductory build here. This time we're going to go straight to the Riven setup. I'm going to do everything I can to max out the weapon just so we can see what the MK1 Paris can do. But before we go any further, let me make sure I'm making myself perfectly clear. In case you're a newer player coming into Warframe and maybe you stumbled across the MK1 Paris and you want to get the most you can out of it, you need to stop right now. The MK1 Paris is an introductory level weapon only to be used for tutorial purposes, okay? It's junk, essentially. Link in the cards right now for the Dread build. If you fancy yourself something like a sharpshooter or you prefer this style of weapon, check out the Dread. That one really packs a punch and is 100% worth investing in. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the MK1 Paris. See what I did? See what I did there? A French accent. I'm sorry, I'll stop now. Let us begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped. And for that, just a couple of free shots. The MK1 Paris is your basic traditional style bow in Warframe. You have an arrow, you pull it back, you release it, and upon contact you're gonna be getting some damage. But the weapon does offer you an option in how you fire it. You can fully charge it like so for maximum damage, but you can also rapid fire it like so for half the damage. So essentially the proposition is like this. Half a second full of charge time for double the damage, and depending on the situation, of course, you can adapt. Now, normally in Warframe, when it comes to bows such as this, you have projectile drop-off, right? The arrow kind of drops off from the point that you're kind of aiming at, but not with this one, not a whole lot. Take a look at that one. Not taking into account the actual recoil of the weapon, it doesn't seem to have a whole lot of drop-off, basically none whatsoever that I can actually observe. So bear that one in mind. With this one, you do still gotta lead your targets, right? Because you do have projectile flight speed or travel time, but no longer drop-off. So I would go straight for headshots. And that's it for functionality. Let's have a look at what we're dealing with. Mod capacity, 60 out of 60. And if you're MK1 Paris, okay, just don't, okay? Just don't plug in the Auto King Catalyst unless you're that bored with Warframe. Unless there's nothing else to do, do not plug in an Auto King Catalyst into this one because basically it's a waste. Now, my weapon has been formatted a total of 6 times because you can't say I don't suffer for my craft. Accuracy 16.7, now this is basic for any traditional style bow in Warframe. A charge rate of half a second, critical chance of 30%, and a base multiplier of 2.0x. Now actually, if you think about it, this is not that bad, and we're going to be leveraging it to our advantage. Magazine of 1, multi-shot of 1, noise silent because it is a bow, and a punch through of 2.0 meters, which again is pretty standard for this type of weapon. Reload of 0.6 seconds. Now this represents the time it takes the Warframe to pull another arrow from the quiver. Riven disposition, 5 out of 5 because only madmen play with this weapon. Full on Riven disposition, so the stats on the Rivens will be sky high. Status chance a bit on the low side, 15%, but again for an MK1 weapon, actually it's not all that bad. And if you take a look at the charge damage versus the quick shot damage, you will see that what I told you is true. You basically get half the damage for the quick shot damage. And no, I'm not gonna make you jump through hoops. We're gonna go to the final build, my friends, the Riven setup. Basically, this is the best build I can come up with the MK1 Paris given my resources and my Riven. You go with serration for damage, of course, multi-shot with split chamber. You got yourself your critical chance, critical damage with point strike, vital sense, and the Riven. Take a look at that, man. 274.7% critical chance and 325.4% damage. Basically, the Riven gives you almost double serrations, essentially, bundled up into one plus 274.7% crit chance, and point strike only gives you 150. Resulting in what? Resulting in 157.4 critical chance from a base of 30, which is absolutely huge. You get 75% with just point strike alone. Hunter Munitions is here! What a big surprise. I'm sorry, honestly, I feel like apologizing. I'm sorry it's here. I'm sorry D refuses to nerf it. It's that powerful. It has to be here. I'm sorry, I apologize. 60-60 viral mods with Malignant Force and Rhyme rounds, but I guess you guys saw this one coming. As for the Weapon Excellence mod slot, Terminal Velocity, 60% projectile flight speed, this is what I would recommend, but I didn't see that much of a difference. Honestly, take a look. So, I'm gonna be firing like soup. Now let's take off Terminal Velocity and you guys tell me if you can actually spot the difference. Now there is a way to see if this one actually works or not. You go into Captura, you slow down time, and you actually time the time it takes for an arrow to actually reach a point. It's totally doable, it's just that, honestly, I couldn't be arsed for the MK1 Paris. It looks pretty similar, doesn't it? But I still think it's better with Terminal Velocity. Visually speaking, it looks a little bit faster, so bear that one in mind. Now, my friends, you might think that this weapon is extremely weak, right? It can't possibly do that much damage. Why? Because it's an MK1 weapon. If you judge it by the stats it has right here, actually, this weapon is fully capable of one-shotting not level 120 Corrupted Heavy Goons, level 150 Corrupted Heavy Goons, about, well, 30% of the time. Let's test that, shall we? We're gonna pump up the level to 150, not believers. I'm gonna prove you wrong, non-believers. You do not believe in the power of the MK1 weapons. Now, just to make sure we're not gonna be using the punch rule, okay, we're gonna hit like so. One shot in the target, no slash. Now, it's true, if it doesn't slash, well, no cigar, but if it does slash... 31,000 for that bleed. You know why it was 31,000? Because it also applied the viral proc, so it basically almost doubled the value of the slash proc. Well, the bleed. A single shot into this one, what do we got? We got 15,000, that's a one shot. Easy mode one shots on this one, as you can see. So we already one shotted 2 targets. I don't want to put more than 1 arrow in each guy. With 8,364, the bleed will stop at roughly 30 to 35% of the target's HP, like so. Oh, that's a one shot. That's a 48,000 slash proc. That was an orange slash coupled together with the viral proc, if I'm not mistaken. No bleed, no GG, as per the usual. And once again, 15,777 one shot on the target. And my friends, out of 8 Corrupted Heavy Goons, level 150, there were 4 one shots out of the MK1 Paris. Now granted, I got a Riven, and it's a max Riven disposition, and the roll on this one is not bad. I mean, it's critical chance and damage, but the prio is critical chance multi-shot damage with a harmless negative, right? So you can get even better performance than this. If this one had multi-shot, it would have been absolutely godlike. But of course, a Riven like that is gonna set you back quite the amount of plat because the Paris Prime exists. So bear that one in mind. It's weird that you would buy a Riven like that and then use it on the MK1. I would totally go for something like that. And of course, my friends, just to make it very, very clear, okay, I had no buffs. There's no buffs, there's no something like corrosive projection. I have Naramon on, not that these actually affect the simulacrum, but that's another kettle of fish entirely. And rest assured that because the targets are paused, they do not take extra damage. There is no stealth multiplier here. Link in the cards right now. That issue was corrected years ago with Warframe. But I still see some guys are still a little bit confused. And once again, here's the one shot at 15,777. Twice in a row, because why the hell not? Now, while this is honestly surprising to me, I don't normally, I know how a weapon will perform before I actually test it because I input everything into my Excels and I know exactly what kind of numbers I'm gonna be getting. But honestly, seeing it one-shot these level of targets is absolutely phenomenal. And there's no Warframe buffs. You guys like Warframe buffs? I love Warframe buffs too. Let's talk about the ever so lovely Lady Mirage Prime, the best weapon buffer frame in, well, Warframe. For objective reasons, of course. Now, you can go with corrosive projection, but if your build requires something stupid, like, I don't know, brief respite, on ability cast, converts energy spent to shield. Oh, actually, this might be interesting on a couple of builds. I never used something like that. Anyway, the point here was, before I sidetracked, you use whatever aura you want. Corrosive projection against heavily armored target is the best choice for obvious reasons. When it comes to Arcanes, Arcane Rage R5 farm from the third Eidolon down on Cetus on headshot, 50% chance for plus 180% damage to primary weapons for 24 seconds. Couple this one with Arcane Avenger, which is the best offensive Arcane in Warframe, from my humble point of view. On damage, 21% chance for 45% critical chance for 12 seconds. This is a bonus additive after effect, so it stacks on top of what you already have. It applies to your primary weapon, to your secondary weapon, and to your melee as well. if you don't like buying Arcanes, and if you don't like farming Arcanes, then it's easier to farm them from Scarlet Spear. It's a lot easier, but Scarlet Spear, from what I understood, is a bi-yearly event, something like that, and it's currently not going on. Sorry. One more thing that you can do, get yourself a Sentinel. Any Sentinel will do, my friends, and on that Sentinel's weapon, make sure you have the Vigilante mods. 20% chance to enhance critical hits from primary weapons with the 4 Vigilante mods. Basically, if your little Sentinel dies and never comes back to life, you will still retain that bonus. So bear that one in mind. I know there's a whole lot of bearing in a whole lot of minds. I'm gonna unpause the... I'm sorry, I'll stop now. I'm gonna unpause the AI so they can hit me and I can get my buffs. Activate Mirage's free ability for a massive, absolutely massive damage increase. Here's a bit of a misconception. Just because you see 718% there, that is not the damage, the value of the damage increase, okay? Mirage's Eclipse buff works very differently, a whole lot better than Chroma's. Oh, by the way, there's a link in the cards right now if you want to see a damage comparison, Mirage versus Chroma. You would be surprised. And of course, her ever so lovely clones. Now, my friends, I don't need any more slashes. I can one-shot with straight up damage. No problem whatsoever. Oh, by the way, the red slashes, that is because that 20% chance to enhance critical hits. Absolutely glorious. Now, of course, when I'm faced with this much power, I can drop Hunter Munitions. I'm killing it upon impact. 130,000 damage on a Corrupted Heavy Gunner level 150 out of the MK1 Paris. Bet you never thought something like that will happen. So yes, if you're going for a build such as this, no need to actually... Wow, that was beautiful. No need to actually use something like Hunter Munitions. I believe that a weapon such as this serves testament that you should not judge a book by its covers. Of course, there are plenty of better weapons in Warframe, my friends. This one doesn't even register on the scale, but as long as you understand how the game functions, as long as you understand the mechanics, the weaknesses and vulnerabilities of everything in Warframe, you can make mostly any weapon into a full-blown monster. Even the MK1 Kunai, link in the cards right now, you'll be surprised at that what weapon can do. Everything mostly can be made into a monster, except the Stug. Okay, don't remind me of that. That thing is just freaking hopeless. It needs to be deleted from the game. And on that note, as always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you got any sorts of feedback for me, by all means, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below, if you guys want to suggest any particular type of content. Now, in all honesty, I can't exactly promise you or guarantee that it'll be done by next time, or even within a week, because, well, these things sometimes take a little time to make, but I can promise you that I will be reading through each and every comment. And if you love the content, consider supporting us via Patreon. You can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. Wow, that must have been like the longest outro ever. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye. Righto, time to get to work.